Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So it's Sunday. If you're watching this live, it is Sunday, 21st of September. My name is Vicky Marie. I live in Spain, in Europe. If you don't know, if you haven't watched my channel before, if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for returning. If you're a new viewer, thank you so much for watching. Okay, so yeah, here I am in mainland Spain. It is 26 degrees, still quite warm here, but you know, at least it's livable, tolerable. You can breathe now after we've had this very, very hot summer that we've had. So I hope you're all having a nice Sunday so far. I mean, it's early yet, unless of course you're in Australia or the other side of the world where it's your evening, I suppose now. But let me know what you're up to on a Sunday. Let me know how you are. Let me know which part of the world you're from, but don't dox yourself, just the, general sort of area will do. Now, what we're going to talk about in this video, let me just put my banner on actually. We're going to talk about Lily and Jack. These two little ones. Seems like a lot of the cases that I'm talking about lately are children. I don't really like talking about children's cases, but I can't let this one go. Jack and Lilly Sullivan, brother and sister, only a year in between them, disappeared over there in Nova Scotia in Canada. Let's have a look actually at Nova Scotia, just in case any of you don't know where it is. We have looked before, but I haven't spoken about this case for quite a long time, for the simple reason there hasn't really been any news. But it's a terrible case, really. One of these missing persons cases, but even worse, as I say, because it is children. When children go missing, it's bad enough when adults go missing, but you feel like they can at least look after themselves. You know, they may have disappeared. If adults disappear, there's always a possibility they might have taken themselves off somewhere, isn't it? Just wanted to drop off grid for a while, because they want to sort their head out or whatever, and that is what happens so often. With adult missing persons, literally they turn up very quickly, or not long afterwards. They just, sometimes people are going through something, and they just can't help it, can they? They want a break. They want a break away from friends, from family, for whatever reason. There can be lots of reasons why somebody goes off grid. But that's adults. Children don't go off grid, do they? So these little ones, one thing that we do know, so this is Nova Scotia. Just to give you an idea of where it is. So, of course, Canada's over here, got the United States. So it's on Prince Edward Island. No, I've never been to Canada. I have no idea of geography of Canada. It's quite remote, is it? If any of you out there are in Canada or know a bit about Canada, is this area in general, Nova Scotia, is it quite a remote area? I get that impression. But, as I say, I have absolutely no clue. Just to let you know where we're talking about. Oh, by the way, it's Vicky Marie with a cup of tea today. I've got a cup of herbal tea. Trying to be healthy. Why is it so boring being healthy? Why are all the nice things bad for you? It's like a conspiracy, isn't it? All the things you like. Chocolate or, whatever it is that you like. It seems to be that healthy things are all a little bit boring, and unhealthy things Why do we like unhealthy things better? You know, why do we like chocolate when it's supposed to be bad for us? Anyway, sorry, I'm going off at a complete tangent. Now, I don't mind this herbal tea. It's not that bad. But yeah, it's nothing spectacular. But I'm trying to get some fluids because, you know, what I've noticed since it's not so hot, I've stopped drinking enough water. And I need to drink water. We all need to drink water, don't we? And I find it really difficult to drink water unless it's hot. And so I've noticed a difference in me because I'm not drinking enough water. So I thought maybe tea would be more interesting, but it's still, you know, fluid, isn't it? So, you know, the fluid you want to drink is beer normally, but or I do anyway, but not supposed to. Oh, chai latte Bluebell's about to get. Anyway. Sorry, I'm going to say hello to the people. So this is what I'm going to talk about today. These two little mites that have disappeared in Nova Scotia, literally, supposedly just playing outside their house, which is in quite a remote area. And their mum and stepdad were in the house with their sibling. They've got a baby as well. And they just disappeared. This is what the mum and stepdad said. A lot of people believe they had something to do with it, but they've passed lie detector tests. The police have got no clues, or none that they're telling us about. Let's put it that way. So we're going to talk about this and the latest development, which really is, you know, they're going to go out searching now with cadaver dogs, which I just can't believe they haven't gone out before. Because you know what? This happened. When was it? It's ages ago. This was in May. Lily and Jack disappeared on the 2nd of May, and we are now on the 21st of September. So it seems unbelievable that the police are only just using cadaver dogs. They have used dogs, you know, try and pick up their scent, but not cadaver dogs before. So that's what we're going to talk about anyway, this case in Nova Scotia. I know a lot of you are interested in it. I haven't spoke about it for a while because, as I say, there literally has not really been any news. So when I say a while, I mean, I think I last spoke about it about a year ago, a month ago, a week ago even. Okay, so first of all, I want to say my thank yous. Thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you to any of you who watch my videos. Please think about subscribing if you haven't already. It's completely free to subscribe and like the videos. Special thank you as always to my members who go that little bit further to support my channel. Thank you, I appreciate that. Every Thursday we have a members live, exclusive members live. What else? Thank you to those of you who've bought me Ko-fis, sent me super stickers, emailed me, messaged me, left any nice comment on my channel. Thank you so much. Okay, now I'm going to say hello to everybody. So hello to my lovely lurkers. I really appreciate you watching and leaving me nice comments. Hi to the loathsome lurkers. Hi to the replay crew. Thank you so much. And let's see who's brave enough to come into the chat so far. I know we've got David. Hi, David. Hi, Bluebell. Melbourne is a miserable spring day. Raining. We still haven't had any rain here in Spain. When I took my doggies out this morning, it looked like it was going to rain again. We got quite a lot of clouds we get in the morning, but they seem to burn off as the day goes on. I don't know if we're expecting rain. Supposedly this week the temperatures are going to fall, so we'll see. Yeah, it feels that way, doesn't it, David? Kids going missing. There's, you know, well, I won't look into it too much because it would depress me too much. But if you do look into it, you know, we only cover certain cases become high profile for all sorts of different reasons, don't they? Like why this case has become more high profile than other missing children's cases, I don't know. Probably because it's very unusual for two children to disappear together. That's a fact. children do disappear on a regular basis. It's quite depressing. Sometimes, I'm sure there's all sorts of reasons. Sometimes they wander off. Sometimes they get kidnapped. Sometimes it's foul play at home. There's all various reasons why a child might be an accident. But it's unusual for two children to disappear at the same time. And these two are siblings, as I say, very close in age. I think it's 5 and 6 or something like that. Let's have a look. So Lily was born in 2019 and Jack was born in 2020. So, yeah, I mean, they're so young. So the thing is, as I say, with children's cases, one thing you know is they haven't gone off to clear their head or, to start a new life somewhere. These children, it's not good that they've not been seen for all that length of time. They cannot be supporting themselves. They cannot be feeding themselves. So it feels very depressing, doesn't it? That it's likely that something bad has happened to them. Because unless somebody has taken them, hi Pinky Cat, if somebody has actually taken them, that's the best case scenario. Presuming that the person who's taken them is looking after them, and didn't take them for a nefarious reason. There's a few sort of little rumours, that they were seen, somebody said they were seen walking up the road. Let's try and get an idea of where this house is, because if you see where they went missing from, you understand a bit more of how maybe the reason that they've not been found so quickly. Yeah, so their property is a rural home in Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station, Pictou County, Nova Scotia. So it is a rural home that they went missing from. I wonder if I can get a photo of the home up. And it's surrounded by woods. I mean, you get this feeling that maybe they did wander into the woods. What do you think? Did they wander into the woods and then get lost and something terrible has befallen them? Let's see if I can find like a clear image of the... that might do. So it's not a house that's on a road. There is a road not too far away. But look, I think we can see on this picture. Can we see? No, can't see too well. You can see at the bottom here. So you can see the home, see all the woods round about. You know what kids are like? They can disappear pretty quickly, isn't it? They can just disappear in a flash. 1 minute they're there, the next minute they're gone, because they run off. But yeah, strange, the two of them. So maybe they were just bored outside, they were playing, maybe they decided to just go into the woods. It's feasible, isn't it? We don't know for certain. We don't know for certain that the parents had anything to do with it or that anybody had anything to do with it. And this is what the police, it's the Canadian Mounted Police, of course. This is what they're saying. They have no proof of anything, really. They have no idea what happened to these two children. But I think the one thing that we do know is these two children being missing as long as they've been missing, it's not good. Because children cannot you know, they can't feed themselves. They're just, something bad has happened to them one way or another. And the best case scenario, as I say, is that maybe somebody kidnapped them, but somebody who wasn't going to harm them. And I think it's unusual to kidnap 2 children, though, as well, because it's quite difficult to kidnap 2 children. Because although let's suppose they went to the end of the road. There is a road at the end of their little dirt track that leads to their house. Let's presume for a moment they did go, you know, and somebody saw them in a car. How would they get 2 children into the car? You know? Unless they knew them. See, this is the other thing. Maybe somebody was there, somebody who took them knew them. And that would be easier to get them into the car. But don't forget, their parents were there. They were in the house. Would they just have got into the car with someone? You know? I mean, anything's possible, isn't it? But for 2 of them to get into a car with a stranger, I think is harder to believe. What do you think? But it's very unusual for 2 children to get kidnapped at once. Really is. Just it's more complicated. For normally a snatcher, someone who snatches children, they will snatch the easiest one to take and take them off before the other ones had much chance to do it. It's rare for them to snatch more than 1 child because it's harder for them to manage them. But I don't know. Anyway, the news, the reason, as I say, I haven't done an update for a while because there literally has not really been much of an update, certainly in the last week. But, you know, these cases, they're always being looked into, even if, you know, it feels like nothing's being done. But the news that has come out is that the police, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, now have announced that they're going to use cadaver dogs. And my question is just, I can't believe it's taken 3 months. Is it 3 months, maybe more? May, June, July, August. Oh my God, it's 5 months since these little mites went missing. And this is the first time they're using cadaver dogs. Seems odd to me. I mean, they have used dogs, but they've used like dogs that pick up scents of living people, you know, trying to get a scent of them. But, yeah, they haven't used cadaver dogs before. Don't you think that feels odd? Or if they've just not got those resources or whatever. Anyway, let's have a look at the article that talks about it. When I can find it. So this article is the Global News, I think. So Nova Scotia missing kids, cadaver dogs to be used as RCMP announced new searches. So they abandoned the search, of course. They've abandoned the search. Then they have searched quite thoroughly, but not with cadaver dogs, which, you know, really seriously, I think should have been used right from the beginning. Because the other problem is now all these months have gone, you know, scents even for cadaver dogs, I presume, scents, you know, aren't as good as they would have been 3 months ago or whatever. It just seems odd, doesn't it? Or is it just me?
But when you call cadaver dogs in this late, it's for one. Well, it speaks for me that it's another tool in their toolbox, so to speak.
This former major crimes investigator says he thinks police are on the right track. The RCMP announced Friday it's bringing in cadaver dogs in the search for Lilly and Jack Sullivan, which are used to look for human remains.
But when you call cadaver dogs in this late, it's for one reason is because they are most effective when they're looking for decomposition. 2, where are they looking for decomposition and why? What information do they have that takes them to that particular position?
Police won't share details.
So he seemed to think there that maybe they're bringing the cadaver dogs in because now they're thinking that maybe that they're dead. Another interesting thing he just said there, because I was thinking, well, surely the longer they're decomposed, the harder they are to find. But he seemed to be saying that they bring them in later because the poor little things, if they are deceased, their remains will have decomposed more. So, I don't know. I'm glad they're bringing them in. I mean, nobody wants these kids to be found deceased, but they've got to be found one way or another. It's just something else to eliminate, isn't it? And you got a little glimpse there of the area. Let's see. I mean, it just looks massive. So it's all woods. Don't see how long it took the authorities to find Travis Decker, and he's a grown man, an adult. These are tiny little children. So difficult. They could have walked past them 3 times already. And especially if these children were hiding somewhere. Anyway, they're not doing it today. They've just said they're going to bring in cadaver dogs. They have not announced when they're going to do it. They want to do it in stealth, which you can't blame them, really.
Police won't share details on dates, times, or the locations of the upcoming searches. In a statement to Global News, an RCMP spokesperson said there is nothing definitive to support the children are dead, but previous searches have not yielded any results. RCMP say, quote, deploying the human remains detection teams at this point aligns with the investigative efforts to date. All scenarios are being considered. It's critical for investigators to remain open to all possibilities to ensure our investigation is fully comprehensive. Speaking to reporters on Friday, RCMP say these cadaver dogs can find decomposing bodies several feet in the ground, along with operating within water and with burnt remains.
We know it's going to take time. We wish it'd be faster, but we have to be patient.
The 2 children were first reported.
Yeah, I was looking for that actual, press conference. I can't find it.
Reported missing from their home in Lansdowne Station in Pictou County on May 2nd, prompting a large-scale search effort involving hundreds of volunteers. Police say more than 80 interviews, 800 tips, and thousands of video have been compiled throughout the investigation, along with polygraph tests and forensic examinations on items discovered in the search. This staff sergeant says the cadaver dog search will continue until every angle has been explored.
There's no real timeline to follow until you extinguish all possibilities.
Mitchell Bailey, Global News, Halifax.
Let's just watch that again. So, yeah, just to remind you, their mum was remarried. I don't know if she was married. And she was living with the father of her baby, who was in the house. So their mum, their stepfather and the baby were all in the house, apparently, as the children were playing outside. Jack and Lily were playing outside when they disappeared. So lots of polygraph tests have been made. The only thing that did seem strange to me was that the very next day, is it Malaya, the mother, she went off to stay with them. She left the house the very next day, which to me always seemed a bit strange, because if my little ones had gone missing, I won't be leaving that house immediately. Do you know, maybe once the police had said they'd searched everywhere, but the very next day that they disappeared, she left that area. That did seem strange to me, but who knows what you would do in certain circumstances. Oh no, I don't want to watch that. I want to watch that. Hang on, let's go back to it there.
Investigator says he thinks police are...
Well, it speaks for me that it's another tool in their toolbox, so to speak.
This former major crimes investigator says he thinks police are on the right track. The RCMP announced Friday it's bringing in cadaver dogs in the search for Lilly and Jack Sullivan, which are used to look for human remains.
Well, when you call cadaver dogs in this late, it's for One reason is because they are most effective when they're looking for decomposition. 2, where are they looking for decomposition and why? What information do they have that takes them to that particular position?
Police won't share details on dates, times, or the locations of the upcoming searches. In a statement to Global News, an RCMP spokesperson said there is nothing definitive to support the children are dead, but previous searches have not yielded any results.
Now, just want to say something. It's strange because they're not giving away any information about when they're going to look for them, where they're going to look for them, etc. So why even announce this? Why not just do it? Take the cadaver dogs out quietly, not tell anyone. Why do you feel like they're trying to send a message to someone? Because to me, if you're not going to give any information up about it, like when you're going to do it, where you're going to do it, why you're going to do it, it just seems pointless even saying you're going to do it.
RCMP say, quote, deploying the human remains detection teams at this point aligns with the investigative efforts to date. All scenarios are being considered. It's critical for investigators to remain open to all possibilities to ensure our investigation is fully comprehensive. Speaking to reporters on Friday, RCMP say these cadaver dogs can find decomposing bodies several feet in the ground, along with operating within water and with burnt remains.
We know it's going to take time. We wished it'd be faster, but we have to be patient.
The 2 children were first reported missing from their home in Lansdowne Station in Pictou County on May 2nd, prompting a large-scale search effort involving hundreds of volunteers. Police say more than 80 interviews, 800 tips, and thousands of video have been compiled throughout the investigation, along with polygraph tests and forensic examinations on items discovered in the search. This staff sergeant says the cadaver dog search will continue until every angle has been explored.
There's no real timeline to follow until you extinguish all possibilities.
Mitchell Bailey, Global News, Halifax.
So, it's a shame, isn't it? Because sorry, I'm trying to turn that off. I don't know where it is now. Not that. Playing another video. You probably can't hear it. There it is. Right, let's have a look at what someone else has got to say about this. Let me know what you think. What do you think? Like somebody said there, Pinky, that she thought probably they'd been taken. What do the rest of you think? There's a river there, isn't there? There's water there. That was something that struck me in the beginning, because although they did search the water, they didn't find them, but we know how difficult it is to find bodies in water too. But now even looking at, how long it took to find Travis Decker, it tells you something, doesn't it, really? Okay, let's have a look at this video.
4.5 months after Lilly and Jack Sullivan went missing from their home in Pictou County, the RCMP says it will send in cadaver dogs trained to pick up the scent of human remains. This is something that family members, including Lilly and Jack's stepfather, have been asking for.
This is Daniel, the stepfather.
At a news briefing on Friday, an RCMP spokesperson said that although they don't have any information to suggest the children are deceased, they have to consider all avenues. Police say they've been looking into a variety of leads over the course of the investigation, and that they now plan to use the dogs in an area where they believe there is the highest probability of finding Lilly and Jack. 2 dogs and 2 RCMP officers trained in locating human remains are coming from BC to conduct the search. The children's paternal grandmother, Belinda Gray, says she's happy to see the dogs being deployed, but she still questions what took so long. 8.5 square kilometers of dense woods near their home have already been searched, but until now, only dogs that can trace human scent but not human remains had been used. It's unclear when the search will begin, but it won't be this weekend. Police say they're keeping the details close to their chest to protect officers' safety and not compromise the investigation. Andrew Sampson, CBC News, Halifax.
Let's watch that one more time. like to watch these twice because you miss things the first time, don't you? Oh God, why does it go off? Was that the CBC one? I think I was watching, was it? Oh, look at them. Look at these two little cuties.
4.5.
Climatización y aerotermia da Itsu. Da bienestar.
Come
Half
on.
months after Lilly and Jack Sullivan went missing from their home in Pictou County, the RCMP says it will send in cadaver dogs trained to pick up the scent of human remains. This is something that family members, including Lilly and Jack's stepfather, have been asking for. So why now? At a news briefing on Friday, an RCMP spokesperson said that although they don't have any information to suggest the children are deceased, they have to consider all avenues. Police say they've been looking into a variety of leads over the course of the investigation, and that they now plan to use the dogs in an area where they believe there is the highest probability of finding Lilly and Jack. 2 dogs and 2 RCMP officers trained in locating human remains are coming from BC to conduct the search. The children's paternal grandmother, Belinda Gray, says she's happy to see the dogs being deployed, but she still questions what took so long. 8.5 square kilometers of dense woods near their home have already been searched, but until now, only dogs that can trace human scent but not human remains had been used. It's unclear when the search will begin, but it won't be this weekend. Police say they're keeping the details close to their chest to protect officer safety and not compromise the investigation. Andrew Sampson, CBC News, Halifax.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to look at another news report, and somebody, this reporter is interviewing somebody who's got experience in this kind of thing for their views. But yeah, please let me know what you think. I really don't know in this case. I feel like they might have wandered off and got into trouble. But as I say, that thing about Malaya, when she left the next day, left that area the very next day, that just rung a red flag with me, because if your child goes missing, you certainly would not leave the very next day, would you? You want to be there when they were found, because they would need you, you know. So why did she go off? That's the only thing that always keeps going through my head. Okay, let's have a look at the next article. But yeah, let me know what you think.
On that search for the 2 missing children in rural Nova Scotia. RCMP say cadaver dogs will begin searching for Lilly and Jack Sullivan, who went missing in May. But officials are maintaining they don't have any reason to believe that the siblings are dead. Andrew Sampson tells us more.
4.5 months after Lilly and Jack Sullivan went missing from their home in Pictou County, the RCMP says it will send in cadaver dogs trained to pick up the scent of human remains. This is something that family members, including Lilly and Jack's stepfather, have been asking for. So why now? At a news briefing on Friday, an RCMP spokesperson said that although they don't have any information to suggest the children are deceased, they have to consider all avenues. Police say they've been looking into a variety of leads over the course of the investigation, and that they now plan to use the dogs in an area where they believe there is the highest probability of finding Lilly and Jack. 2 dogs and 2 RCMP officers trained in locating human remains are coming from BC to conduct the search. The children's paternal...
Yeah, sorry, it's the same interview, the same report speaking, but there's an interview after it.
Grandmother, Belinda Gray, says she's happy to see the dogs being deployed, but she still questions what took so long. 8.5 square kilometers of dense woods near their home have already been searched, but until now, only dogs that can trace human scent but not human remains had been used. It's unclear when the search will begin, but it won't be this weekend. Police say they're keeping the details close to their chest to protect officer safety and not compromise the investigation. Andrew Sampson, CBC News, Halifax.
Okay, for more insight into this, we're going to now turn to Bruce Pitt-Payne. Bruce is a retired RCMP major crimes investigator, joining us tonight from Maple Ridge, BC. Bruce, it is good to speak to you on this.
Hi, Sarah.
So the RCMP planning to use cadaver dogs. What does this news tell you about where we are in the investigation and where things are going? I mean, what they have said is they don't believe they have any reason to think that the children are dead, but the use of cadaver dogs is going to make a lot of people think that they must.
Yeah, and they've said that over and over again. And with the information or the lack of information we have, which is normal at this point, the public wouldn't know exactly what the police know. But if we go on what they're...
That's right. We always have to remember that. You know, this happens a lot, doesn't it, in cases that we're looking at. We haven't got all the information, although the police released that information about Lily's blanket, didn't they? They'd found bits of Lily's blanket and they were have it being forensically tested. They also released the information that the several polygraphs had been taken and they'd all been passed. So they've released sort of bits of information. Oh, the other thing that they told us, of course, as well, was that the children were last seen the very day before they disappeared at like a family gathering, wasn't it? Like on CCTV. I don't think we've actually seen those images, but we were told that the children were seen in public the day before. And there's a little bit of sort of, were they kept off school? Or I'm going to look into that, like more the timeline in a moment. But yeah, so the police have given us some information, but yeah, 100% certain we won't have all the information that's available on this case because we are the public, not the police.
Saying this is a logical step. It seems that they've been doing a thorough process so far, going through all of the steps that generally would happen in a missing persons investigation. And now they're at the point where this is probably the logical next step, even if it's a Hail Mary. Kudos to the police for doing things that might give some sort of resolution.
So what is a cadaver dog then looking for?
What?
They're trained specifically aside from...
Did she really just ask them what is a cadaver dog looking for? Hello? What, like cadavers, perhaps?
Other police dogs training. They look, instead of for cross-training and all different sorts of scents, they're focused primarily on the decomposition of human remains. And so that's what they're going to be looking for. So at least the police can possibly rule out certain areas.
They're not saying when this is actually going to happen, where it's actually going to take place, this particular part of the search. Why wouldn't they be a little more open about that?
Yeah, there's several reasons for that. The predominant reason is that they don't want what we in the business used to call looky-loos showing up. They could distract the dogs. You can imagine that, for instance, if people show up with heavy perfume on, that alone could be a scent noise and a distraction to the dogs and interference. But also having people around could distract them. And frankly, it could be in dangerous terrain. You never know, somebody could get...
You know, I think all that's fair enough, isn't it? But then, so I don't know why Shelley was just saying they're trying to just show that they're still doing something, and it could be. Because, yeah, you think, why didn't they just go out quietly and, you know, take these cadaver dogs out? Why announce it? And then, because, of course, now people are going to be interested. And it's interesting him talk about looky-loos who turn up and try and film. And I do think that is a bad thing that people, social media people do, you know, or whoever. Unless the police ask them, it's different if the police sometimes, they ask for searchers, don't they, to help. That's different. But yeah, really, you should not turn up, you know, to try and film a search. And as he says, you know, the dogs could get distracted. You've got to give the dogs the full focus on these poor little children and finding them. You know, the more people that are around, the more confusing it is for the dogs, I would imagine.
Hurt. The other reason is purely investigative, and it's regarding something called holdback evidence. If the police did in fact find some human remains in a certain area and it was released to anybody else in any way, it would mean they couldn't test the reliability of a confession later. So if
yeah, exactly. And people can sort of tamper with forensic evidence. I don't mean deliberately, but if it thing is, how many dog walkers find human remains? Loads, don't they? And of course, at first you probably would, you wouldn't touch them, would you? I don't know, but you'd be thinking, oh, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? If you had a walking stick, you might prod it with your walking stick, the remains, if they're scattered around, or look at the clothes, or maybe the dog will bring something to you. That's happened so many times, isn't it? Someone's there walking the dog disappears, comes back with a bloody bone attached to some clothing or whatever. So these, of course, do interfere with the crime scene as well. But, that's different. If that's just somebody coming across human remains by accident, there's not much you can do. I mean, they're not deliberately trying to spoil the crime scene, are they? But yeah, when they're actually out actively searching, like these are going to be doing, they've got to make sure that there's nobody around who's going to maybe find that crime scene and interfere with it. Even the police can't interfere with it. You've even got to worry about the dogs interfering with it, really, haven't you? Because if it is a crime scene, of course, because it could be that these little ones, if they do, I hope they find them. I mean, I'm encouraged by the fact that they found Travis Decker. Just shows that you can, doesn't matter how long, how much time goes past, there's always a chance that people will be found. And when I say I hope they find them, it's not because I hope they're dead. Of course, I wish to God that they were alive, but I just cannot see where how these children can be okay unless somebody has taken them away.
Somebody said, here's where the remains should be. It would show that was a reliable, and I'll use the term confession, should that come later. So the police do not want to ruin that opportunity.
Why do you say that you feel like this is the time, the appropriate time to bring in this kind of a device, these animals? I'm just wondering if you were looking to rule something like this out, why not do it, a couple of months ago? This goes back to May.
Yeah.
Yeah, generally the dogs, I'm going to give you an idea here, is they're not perfect. And I think that was said earlier, and from the research I've done, they're not perfect. So you could get false or negative, false positives or negatives, meaning that if the dog thought it detected something, it could be rotting foliage, it could be a dead animal, it could be anything like that. That could lead to a bias on the part of the investigators, redirect them from areas that they should be working on. So it could waste time and delay a result. Now, you could get a false negative as well, where they don't detect anything, leading to a bias that the children are not in that area. And that could lead to a bias where tunnel vision kicks in and the police leave that search scene. So because it's not 100% perfect, it is not the optimal way. It is another way of trying to find what happened. And usually it comes later in the investigation because there's lots of other things that they've been working on.
We had heard, from the stepfather in this, that he was concerned that they weren't searching elsewhere outside of the wooded area behind the home, that perhaps the children had been taken. If, in fact, these cadaver dogs go in and they don't find any evidence of decomposing body, if the children are not found there, where do you think that at this stage of the investigation, what are the next steps?
Well, I can tell you that, for one thing, just if we still focus on the cadaver dogs, the fact that there is a negative result from any upcoming search does not mean that they aren't going to do it again. And that's what I meant by a false negative. If they don't find anything this time, there could be a logical reason if remains were found later, which would mean that they will do continuous searches.
So don't forget with Travis Decker, when they finally found his remains, though yet to be confirmed, but 99.9% certain, Travis Decker's remains have been found. It was the 4th time that they had searched, and they just extended their search area a little bit because they were searching around the area where Travis sadly killed his 3 daughters. But yeah, it was the 4th search. So yeah, even if they do these searches and then they report afterwards that they didn't find anything, doesn't mean say that'll be the last time, does it? You know, they have to keep, they won't give up on this search in that area. These are 2 little children. Surely they can't give up. Probably.
And I'm going to guess, you know, it could be 6 months, could be every year. But the cadaver dog handler, I believe it was Staff Sergeant Pike said earlier, that if remains are underground, for instance, or in a container or underwater, then as time goes by, a subsequent search might reveal more of a scent.
Oh, God, I hadn't even thought about
Bruce
that.
Pitt Payne, retired RCMP major crimes investigator.
So basically what he's saying is if they'd been hidden deliberately somewhere, that the dogs might not find them now, but maybe in a year's time, whatever they've been hidden in, you know, if they've been buried or put in a container, things rot, don't they? And oh dear me, it's so very sad, isn't it? I just hope to God to find these children one way or another. I mean, in the early days, like I was saying, oh, I hope they find them safe and well. I don't feel that they're going to find them safe and well now. And I feel awful because it's just been so long. I was saying, unless they have been taken by somebody, how can they be okay? We've not been able to fit. I think Jack, the little boy, the youngest, wasn't he still in nappies? You know, so they can't look after themselves. So they're definitely, if they went into those woods, they're definitely deceased. But maybe somebody did pick them up and take them off somewhere. Let's just have a look at the timeline, just to remind ourselves of the timeline of what happened. According, of course, to the stepdad and the mum, because, you know, we only have their word for some of it, but some of it we do know from what the police have from CCTV, etc. So the timeline. So on Wednesday, April the 30th this year, Lily 6 and Jack 4 stayed home from school due to a provincial in-service day. Then on Thursday, May the 1st, Lily was kept home from school with a cough, and both children were seen publicly with family members. And this is the last confirmed sighting of the children. Friday, May the 2nd, at 6:15 a.m., Lily and Jack's mother, Malaya, booked them off school due to being homesick. That was at 6:15 that morning. She booked them off school. So I presume she did that online, did she? Because the school wouldn't be open then, would it, at 6:15? And then at 10 a.m. that same morning, the children were reported missing by their mother, who said she believed they'd wandered away from their home. And then later on that very same day, a multi-agency search began involving volunteers, police and air support. 5 days later, it was scaled back. The extensive ground and air search was scaled back. On May the 8th, the RCMP's command centre was packed up and most searchers left the area. Then on May the 17th to 18th, they had a renewed ground and air search of the area, though it was scaled back from the original one. On July the 16th, so there's hardly any developments till July the 16th, when police confirmed that forensic testing was ongoing for a pink blanket found near the home and other items. And then on August the 22nd, they said, the RCMP said they were still investigating all scenarios, reviewing over 8,000 video files and 760 tips received from the public. So there is a big reward, $150,000 reward for information leading to finding the children. And as far as the public are concerned, what they are being asked for is any video footage, still being asked for video footage, dash cam footage, etc. And both the mother and the stepfather, who I believe have now split up again, it's all quite murky, isn't it? We don't know the full personal circumstances of what's going on. But both the mother and the stepfather say they believe they've run away. I think there are a couple of red flags there, sorry. And I don't like, there's the fact that the mother left the next day and then booking them off school at 6:15 in the morning. That's early, isn't it? How would you know they were ill? Would they even be awake by then at 6:15? You know, I'm just thinking of when my little boy, I say my little boy, he's not a little boy now, my big boy now, but when he was a little boy and when he had school, and I presume their school starts at 9 o'clock. I don't know, maybe it starts at 8 or something. It might be different there. When would you know that they were too sick to go to school? About an hour before, wouldn't you? So surely 6:15. Is that, am I imagining that? Do you think 6:15 is quite early? Hi, Princess. Don't you think any of you that have had children and you've ever had to, you know, call your child in sick? Would you call them in sick at 6:15? I know that's probably on the internet and people do things on the internet now. So not necessarily that you would have to do it, you know, any particular time. You wouldn't have to wait for the school to open, would you? Just seems very early, doesn't it? Now, of course, she had a baby. You know, there's a baby involved as well. They have a baby together. So babies get you up early in the morning, don't they? Just as kids do. So, yeah, don't know. Couple of little red flags there, a couple of little things that are, let's see if I can see her speaking. Let's have a look. But she's passed a lie detector test. Let's remember that. I know it doesn't mean everything. You know, but she has, so. I wonder if I can get a video of her. Here is a little interview. Let's have a look at this little interview. Okay. Let's turn the sound up.
What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing and just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now. But we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued, not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware, someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably...
Yeah, remember that? They and the police have got all that forensic information. There was supposedly child's boot prints in the woods and things. Now, we could be cynical there and say, well, that'd be the easiest thing in the world, to take a boot and leave tracks like as a false lead. And I honestly can say I have no idea what's happened in this case. This poor woman could be 100% genuine what she's saying, but there are two red flags there for me. The fact she disappeared the next day, left the area, and 6:15 to call in your children being sick and not going in school just seems very early. But let me know what you think.
Soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal, and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school, and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't.
So, Princess is saying there she gets up early to do. Now, I'm not saying I might not go. I always get up at 6. What I'm saying is, what time would the kids wake up that she would know that they were too ill to go to school? So, you know, even though, I mean, you'll let me know, Princess, how it happens, how it works in your house. But, you know, yeah, I would be up at 6, definitely, you know, because I'm just a person who always gets up at 6 or not long after. But my son wouldn't be up at 6. So I'd get up at 6. I'd get maybe the packed lunch ready for his almuerzo, that they call it here in Spain. You know, I'm not a very night person, so I do things that I don't do at night. You know, getting his clothes ready, all that kind of thing, getting his bag ready for school. But he wouldn't get up at 6. This is what I'm trying to say. So how would you know that they were still too ill? They were too ill to go to school. But anyway, I'm just probably reading too much into it, just trying to analyze it. I don't know. We'll watch this one more time because it's interesting to see her demeanor. She doesn't come over like she's lying, to be honest, but you just don't know, do you?
Just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up. I heard them playing in the next room beside us. and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children.
Right, I could, I'm playing a bit of devil's advocate here. She does sound a bit rehearsed, I think, what she's saying. But the other thing is that if they're ill, they're too ill to go to school, but they're playing outside, and her and her partner having a lie-in with the baby. And then she says you can't hear the door when it opens, the sliding, it sounded quite rehearsed what she was saying. But she's probably had to go through the story a few times.
They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now. But we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued. Not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal, and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school, and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that another night without them.
Yeah. So
when the day plays out,
I think the other
Just
thing,
staying as hopeful as possible.
what we have to remember is she hasn't been arrested, or no one's been arrested, nothing, so we have to give, they've passed the polygraphs. We have to give them the benefit of the doubt until we have any evidence. Who knows what the police know or don't know? Very strange. Yeah. Yeah, it is strange. It is strange. But you know what? In these sort of cases, the parents, and especially the mother, normally more the mother than the father, they do come under a lot of, get a lot of hate, don't they? So, this sort of part of me understands why maybe she wouldn't want to give any. But anyway, I don't know. But we'll find out, won't we? Because this will come to light, I think. I'm just looking for an interview with him, the guy. We have looked at interviews from him before. I'm just looking for a news interview just to remind us about him. Let's see. There's a lot of, obviously it's been talked about a lot on YouTube, but I don't want to be showing the YouTube channels. I'm just looking for an interview by him. Let's see. No, I don't want TikTok. What's his name? Daniel Martel. Yeah, I have seen him being interviewed a couple of times, and again, very similar to her. Like, you just can't. Seems strange to me that they're not speaking now as well, isn't it? If they're not, isn't it true that they're not together anymore, or don't we know that for sure? Ah, this is it. Yeah, this is it. So I found the interview with him. Let's have a little look, a little reminder about his body language.
Tu bolsillo, donde pudieras abrir una cuenta conjunta en segundos para gastar y gestionar el presupuesto de los dos. Ahora,
I know the truth. I didn't kill Lilly and Jack.
It's been 6 weeks now since you've seen Lilly and Jack. I just want to ask, how are you holding up?
It's been a long 6 weeks. I know that everybody basically in the world at this point is always wanted to know like what happened. It's been from sadness to anger at this point. And I know the RCMP and major crimes are working around the clock trying to piece everything together, and I'm grateful for that. But it always leaves the question, 6 weeks has gone by, and we know at this point they're not in the woods. And where are they?
Did you feel in the beginning that they suspected you?
Of course. The stepfather was always a prime suspect right off the beginning.
You felt that from the beginning?
Yeah.
But you don't feel that now?
No, I don't feel that at all. I asked for the lie detector exam, the polygraph exam. I gave them my phone. I told them I do drug tests because there's a lot of rumors online about a drug party. I know the person that said those rumors, and it was just to take the heat off themselves.
Was there any kind of party?
No.
Was there any kind of gathering that someone might have thought was a party?
No.
There were no people at the house?
No. Not the night before.
Okay, you mentioned you offered the...
Yeah, that was a strange thing, wasn't it? Some people are saying there was a party the night before, there was lots of people there, etc. He's saying no. So...
to take a polygraph test?
Yeah.
Did the RCMP take you up on that?
Yes, it did.
And how did that unfold?
That unfolded in my favor. They obviously know I wasn't lying about anything.
So they said, yeah, great, thank you, come in for a polygraph test.
Yeah, it took a little while to set up. And
when did you do that test?
I don't know the exact date, but that would be at least 3 weeks ago, probably.
So roughly 3 weeks after the disappearance.
Yeah.
And I think most Canadians wouldn't have any idea what's involved with that. Can you describe the process? You go in and just tell us right from the start.
We go in, sit down in a big comfy chair, and they have multiple sensory pads. You have them underneath your forearms, you have them underneath your butt, and you have them underneath your feet with your shoes off. You have a sweat gland on one finger. You have a measuring instrument for blood flow that goes in and out of your hand. And you have a cuff on your arm for blood pressure to measure your pulse.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was extremely nervous. Especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lilly and Jack?
That was the first question they asked you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What went through your mind when someone's asking you that?
I mean, what do we think of lie detectors, polygraphs? I mean, they can't be used in court, of course, because they're not certain enough, are they? But they are. The police do use them as a tool, don't they, to give them an idea? Because if he would have failed the polygraph test, I think they zoom in a bit more on him, don't they? But the fact that he's passed the polygraph test, and according to him, he handed over his phone, he's cooperated fully, etc. And he's been quite voluble, hasn't he? He's been on news programs, and he's not been shying away for the cameras at all. Whereas Malaya, as she only did that one interview and then disappeared the next day, where I'm not even sure where she is now. You know, what do we make of Daniel? What do we make of him? And what do we make of polygraphs in general? If he's passed it, should we then assume that he is innocent? Or don't we believe it?
A question so point blank like that.
Your mind has a massive release of chemicals, I guess you would call them. Just, it's like your stress levels just astronomically through the roof, and your body doesn't know what to do, because it's not every day the way you're hooked up to machines in an interrogation room where someone asks you questions like that.
What other kinds of questions did they ask you?
All the questions pertain to the death of Lilly and Jack. Are you accessory to the murder of Lilly and Jack? They were all.
So all of the questions assumed that the children are no longer alive.
Yeah.
There were no questions at all about, did you take them somewhere? Could
No.
they be somewhere?
Yeah, that's strange, isn't it? So all the questions pertain to them being dead. The murder of Lilly and Jack. But really, supposedly, the police have said they don't know what happened to them.
No.
The police have done a number of polygraph tests. They've done 53 formal interviews. Do you know who these people are?
Yeah.
That's a lot of interviews.
It is a lot of interviews. A lot of them are my family, people who live in the area. And those interviews, typically, my interview was 4 hours. And a lot of the interviews from my family were 1-2 hours. So there's a lot of time taken up, and they ask detailed questions.
Do you know who else actually took a polygraph test?
I mean, I do, but I'm not going to say anything that's going to impede the investigation.
Okay. When did you find out the result of your test?
Immediately right after.
What did they say to you?
You did a good job, you passed.
And how did that feel?
Good.
And did you feel that there was any further suspicion on you after that point, or was that sort of conclusive?
No, that was really when I seen the turning point for it's starting to taper off with investigators.
Do you know if Malaya has taken one?
I don't know if I can say it, but I will anyway. Yes, she did take one.
Okay, she took one. Do you know the result?
No. RCMP weren't allowed to tell me I asked.
You said you feel like everyone in the world wants to know what happened to Lilly and Jack.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think this is getting so much attention?
So don't forget, Malaya as well took one, and she passed, apparently. Everyone's passed from what I can gather. I don't think anyone failed a lie detector test. Sorry about the rocket going off. We've got fiestas going on in my little town at the moment. So you might hear a couple of bangers going off.
Well, just the mysterious
There we go.
nature of everything and how strange everything is. The RCMP, you know, I mean, they have to keep a tight lip on everything, but there's a lot more that meets the eye with the case.
Is there something that you think the public doesn't know that you can share, that you want the public to know?
That's a hard one because I don't want to impede the investigation in any way. It is still a missing persons investigation. It hasn't pivoted to any type of criminal investigation. But the kids were seen the day before. I know a lot of people didn't know that. I still see a lot of stuff online that the kids could have been missing for days. They were at a school for days, and they were seen in the Glasgow area on camera the day before this appearance in the afternoon.
Yeah, so they were definitely around the kids the day before, because that is definitely a fact. But did something happen that night? That's really the question, isn't it? Sorry about the bangers. It's just those of you who watch my channel regularly, you'll know that when there's fiestas going on in my little town, they like their bangers. My poor dogs are all anxious.
Where was that?
I don't know if I can say that, but it was near the Highland Square Mall.
Was it with you?
It was with me, Malaya, and Meadow, and Lilly and Jack were there too.
And are the police aware of that?
The police were aware of that since
Do they have that video?
Yes, they do. I also talked to my coworker in the parking lot as well, and he verified that with investigators as well. So for all the speculation, they were gone days ahead of time, or they were seen the afternoon on camera before the disappearance.
Why do you think the police are asking for video dating back, days before that?
Well, the reason for that is they want to see the traffic of the vehicles on the roads in the area, right? Maybe vehicles that were traveling that area a lot over the last few days prior to hand, or vehicles that, weren't seen in the area, or vehicles that were seen in the area, like local people that are, making frequent trips past the house, or which it's all considered evidence. I mean, more pictures and videos is the better.
They say they have hundreds of hours of video.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if they found anything on those videos?
I think it was up to 2 weeks ago, they had footage that they examined for evidence that was 8 kilometers diameter out from the house. So that was after a month. That's how long it took to get footage and review it 8 kilometers out. So
but what's on the...
Yeah, I mean, it does take time to review footage, that's for sure, because, you don't just get the footage and then the next day you've been through it, or you've got to look through it really carefully, and there could be days of footage that you have to go through, to find the right time, etc. So didn't they... anyway, it's interesting to watch him again. He's another one, I can't make my mind up about him. Sometimes he looks very anxious as he's talking, and I feel like he is very anxious. And then other times I think, no, he comes over as quite genuine. So if only you could see inside people's heads, isn't it, and see what they're actually thinking, not just hear what they're saying.
Video.
I don't know. I'm only limited by what they tell me.
How often are they in touch with you?
Investigators now, I'd say.
Oh, thank you, Julie. That's very kind, as always. Did you hear the bangers going off in the background? Julie, of course, lives in Spain too, and knows exactly what it's like when you've got fiestas going on. So today is the tapas run here in my village. So everyone will be out going from bar to bar and eating tapas and having a little drinky poos as they go. But that's the reason for all the... Sounds like there's shooting going on. Thank you, Julie. Sounds like there's shooting going on, but well, hopefully it's not shooting. It's just the bangers going on. Oh dear. Anyway, they seem to have stopped now for a little while, but I'm sure they'll start again. They'll definitely start again. But thank you. Right, we'll watch this to the end. We'll watch his interview to the end.
Maybe once every 5 days. And usually I'm the one who calls or messages them.
And how's that changed over the course of the 6 weeks?
Well, from the beginning, it was almost daily, tapering off to where it's only like once every 5 days now.
And how do you feel about that?
It's good. It's good and bad. I mean, I like to talk to them in person about any little small details I come up with, or anything I can try to bring to their attention, which may help the investigation. So I don't get to see them often, so it's always over a phone. Or
sometimes trying to be too helpful like that, the police always see that as a red flag, don't they? Like trying to volunteer information. Oh, I remember this interview. He looked like he had a love bite on his neck, didn't he? I don't know if that's a birthmark or whatever, but yeah, I remember this interview. Now, what was the other thing I was going to say about him? The problem is when you're watching people being interviewed like this, because I don't know him, so I don't have a ground, I don't have, if it's somebody and you watch them talking and you think that they're lying, they're acting strangely, you would know, because you know that person, how they normally behave. That was what was so brilliant, wasn't it, about the neighbour in the Chris Watts case? Because that neighbour knew straight away that Chris Watts was acting differently to how he normally acted, because he knew him. The problem when you don't know somebody, you've got no yardstick to go by. So I don't know if this is Daniel's normal demeanour. Sometimes to me looks quite panicked, but then he would be panicked if his stepchildren have disappeared. So, you know, it's difficult to judge, isn't it, if he's lying or telling the truth, because I don't know how he normally is. You know, whereas people that you know, when they're lying, you normally have quite a good idea, don't you? You don't always. I mean, some people are really good liars, but you've got an indicator because you know them and what their normal demeanour is. As far as Daniel's concerned, of course, I don't know what his normal demeanour is. There are times that I look at him and I think, oh, you know, there's something strange. Same with Malaya, but because I don't know what they're normally like, it's very difficult.
Messaging, and hard to really convey what you want to say when you're not in person. But then I also know the eye's not on me. The investigators don't see me as part of the disappearance.
How do you know that?
Well, when you're going from daily to tapering off every 5 days.
Yeah.
I mean, I already gave them everything on my phone. I'm the one who originally said, here, take my phone.
Yeah, he's got the
We'll go through all my
shoulders.
banking
Look at the
information.
shoulder
We'll go through all my
shrugs. They're all
stuff on my
waved.
GPS from Google.
And you were all...
You know, I think he might be kidding himself if he thinks the police aren't looking at him anymore. Of course, they're still looking at him. They'll be looking at everybody until those children are found one way or another. Everyone's a suspect, aren't they, really? No one, even if they've passed a polygraph. Yeah, maybe he might be a little bit overconfident there. That's another thing that the police do as well, isn't it? Try and make someone overconfident. Make them feel as if they're not looking their way anymore. And that's when people make mistakes, maybe go back to, you know, I'm not saying that's what's happened in this case, but this is what's happened in other cases. Once people feel the heat's off them, the police aren't watching them anymore, they go back to maybe the site where the bodies are or body, you know, so I think he's perhaps a bit overconfident, thinking the police aren't looking at him anymore.
Offering all that up, right?
Yeah, I offered everything.
And why were you doing that?
To show them that I want to get the investigation moving. I know I have nothing to do with any of it. A lot of speculation is you killed the kids. Let's come out and say it straight as it is.
What do you think when you read that?
It's a lot of nonsense, obviously. I know the truth. I didn't kill Lilly and Jack. And I just think a lot of people online they're seeking drama. That's the main thing. Everybody's allowed their own opinion, like I said before, but it's hard on the people that were actually there and missing the children. Still haven't got to see any of my kids, including Lilly and Jack. And that's been really tough, going from a family of 7, including my other 2 kids that live in Halifax now, going from a family of 7 in the blink of an eye, your family's ripped apart and you're left alone.
Interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. It's a very interesting case. I think I'm going to start looking into this, you know, more often, even though you know, the only update we've got really is that the police are taking these cadaver dogs out, but maybe do a few little investigative videos about this case, because I hope it doesn't go cold. This is the other thing that worries me, you know, cases like Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers. I'm sure they're not cold. I'm sure the police are still looking into them, but you know, because there's always another one, though, isn't there? The other thing I found interesting about Malaya there is she was saying about autism. This is like a regular thing now, isn't it? It's like, oh, well, you know, suspected autism, she said, didn't she? But what, haven't they been actually diagnosed with autism? You know, it's like I don't know, just like a convenient thing to say somehow. There's something very odd about this case, that's for sure. But if Malaya and Daniel have got nothing to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily, you know, my heart breaks for them, because it'd be awful for your children to go missing, and not only that, but you're thought of as being the person that's done something to them. It's a very, very strange case, isn't it? That's why everyone's so invested in it. Well, apart from the fact there's 2 little children that have disappeared into thin air. But as I say, children disappearing all the time. But this case is unique. It's unique because there's no trace of them, but also, I think, because it's 2 of them. It's so unusual for 2 children to disappear together, and unusual, to be honest, even if the worst has happened and the parents did something to these children, that's unusual too, for 2 children to come to harm from their parents like that. And it makes you think, you know, I mean, I've got a few things that I'm thinking, and I don't want to say them because there's no evidence for them. Possibilities. What can we do? All we can do is pray. But anyway, so I'll be back with more news about Jack and Lily, that's for sure. Thank you so much for watching. A special thank you there to Julie for sending me a super sticker. Thank you so much. I'm going to don't forget, please, to like and subscribe. That's free, where you can support my channel. And if you press notifications, then you'll get any updates on this case. Oh, and also, of course, the other case, I mean, there's few cases that I'm following, but this case of Celeste Rives, you know, the poor girl that was found in the front of the Tesla, belong or registered to or being rented by the singer David, or just waiting for developments in that case, aren't we? So that's another case that I'm going to be following closely as well. Okay, so as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you really soon in the next video. Sorry, I'm just trying to organize my exit. And yeah, I'll see you really soon in the next video. Take care. Have a great Sunday. Look after you, because you are the most important person. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, of course, may your God always go with you. Bye.